Hi there and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable wine bottle hat and scarf sets. They're ideal to dress up any kind of bottle that you're going to give as a gift. And you can make them as long as you'd like. This is a rather large bottle. You could even put them on a body spray type bottle. They're ideal to sell at a craft show. You can knock a lot of them out in no time. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin with a slip knot. I'm going to wrap the yarn around my finger and hold it with my thumb. Bring the dangling piece back around. Lift up on this piece of yarn and bring it over. And then lift up with my finger. We're going to start by chaining 10. I'm going to yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and I'm going to continue until I have a total of 10. So I need to do 6 more. Starting in the second chain from the hook, I'm going to do single crochet all the way down to the end of the row. This will be the start of row 1. Insert, grab the yarn, pull it through. There's 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Go into the next stitch, insert, grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Continue that all the way down to the end. You should have a total of 9. Last one. So that's the end of row 1. 9 single crochet. To begin row 2, we're going to chain 1, turn our work over. For rows 2 through 17, we're going to be working in the back loop only. Here's the difference between the front loop and the back loop. This hook is going under both loops. This is the front loop. This is the back loop. This is the loop that we'll be working in. We're going to be placing single crochets in the back loop only. On your very last stitch of each row, make sure to go under both loops, not just the back loop, under both loops. So I'm going to insert my hook into this back loop only. Grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Go into the next stitch, into the back loop only. Grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. You can go ahead and pause the video. This way you will be able to work at your own pace. You're going to continue this, go all the way down to the end of the row. On your very last stitch of each row, make sure to go under both loops, not just the back loop, under both loops. So I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Okay, welcome back. This is our last stitch. We are going to go under both loops, not just the back loop. Grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through both. Now what that did is you can see a ridge within your work. This is the end of row 2. To begin row 3, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to repeat what we did in row 2. We're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, but only in the back loop until you reach the very last stitch, and you will go under both loops. We're going to insert into the back loop only, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through both. Next stitch, back loop only, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both. Continue that pattern all the way down to the end of the row. On the very last stitch, make sure to go through both loops. Then you'll chain one, turn your work, and repeat that same pattern. I'm going to list the instructions on the screen. We're going to take a pause break and we're going to continue this through row 17. I will meet you back at the end of row 17 and then we'll continue together. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. I'm going to chain one. So I'm going to go into the front loop on this front piece, and we're just going into the chain row. And then I'm going to slip stitch all the way across. So the front loop, go through the chain row, bring it through, slip stitch. All the way down to the end of the row, and this is just joining your two ends together, lining up the stitches one across from the other, and this is the very last one. So now I'm going to just give myself a little extra yarn because I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to bring that through my loop so it'll tie off right there. And then I'm going to grab my yarn needle and we're going to cinch this together so it will create the little hat. So I'm just going to weave in and out of each row. So now if you pull on your yarn real tight, that'll bring it together. And I'm going to tie off by going through a couple of times, hitting all the layers that I can, just as long as you feel it's secure. And then I'm just going to weave in my ends. I'm going to go back, and the dangling piece from the original chain, I'm just going to weave it in as well. Flip this hat inside out. Now we're going to create our edging. So I'm going to start with my slip knot. I'm going to do 3 chains. It's just going to be rows of 2. So single crochet twice, there's your first row, chain 1, turn, single crochet in the back loop only on the first single crochet, and then on your end row you're going to still go through both. So we're doing the very same thing, it's just this row only has a total of 2 single crochet in it. Chain 1, turn your work. You do this as many times so it will wrap around the outer rim of your hat. But I'll meet you back when your rim goes all the way around the hat and meets up together, and then I'll show you how to apply it. So now that we have a long enough edge, I'm going to hold the hat upside down. And I'm going to insert my hook in any stitch. I'm going to grab the yarn, pull it through, and chain 1. I'm going to slip stitch all the way around the edge. Okay, I'm going to go into the very first stitch here, go into the stitch directly behind it, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then slip stitch. Go into the next stitch, go into the stitch directly behind it, grab the yarn, pull it through, and slip stitch. I'm going to continue doing this all the way around. When you have reached the end, I'll meet you back and we'll continue on from there. I have reached the end of my edging and it's matching right up with where we started. We're going to use this yarn to go back around the top. So I'm going to leave myself quite a bit of yarn, probably overdoing it, but I'd rather have more than less. Now before I start stitching this around the top edge of the hat, I'm going to just sew these together right here. Just going under this other edge. So it's connecting them two together. I'm going to go back through. I'm going to weave this in here in just a moment. So I came out on this side. I'm just going to go across here. I go underneath right here, just like so. And maybe one more time. This time I'm going to go in the middle so it'll tie off. I'm also just going to make a real quick tie right here before weaving in this other end. All I'm going to do is just go right under here, kind of in the middle between the two. So I'm just going to be grabbing little bits of yarn here on the inside, coming back up so it'll stay secure. You can see down in there, I'm just going through just a little layer there of that raised edge. Now all that's left to do is make the pom-pom. I'm going to mix the colors on our scarf, but for the hat, I'm going to stick to the white because I just think it makes the hat pop so much more. Now it's time to create the pom-pom. This is where our fork comes in. I'm going to cut off just a little bit of yarn here that we're going to tie our pom-pom with. That should do it. So just place your yarn right down the middle of the fork there. We're going to grab the color of our pom-pom. I'm going to hold this down here at the neck of the fork with the other piece of yarn. I'm going to insert it right here in this first opening. Go back out through the last opening and do that just a couple of times. And then I'm just going to wrap it around here like this, like so. As I'm going to wrap this yarn, I'm still going to be holding this piece of yarn that we're going to tie it with in the handle. I'm going to place my thumb right here just to get it going. And I'm going to wrap this about 30 times. bring the one piece back around through the middle so that now my piece of yarn that I'm going to secure it with are both on top here. I'm going to tie it up here and I'm going to wrap it around this twice just because it stays a little more secure when you wrap it around twice. Bring it off, tie it just a little bit tighter, and I'm going to tie it again, and I'm going to wrap it around twice again. This is our yarn that's tying this together. So I'm going to follow that around so I kind of am aware where this is. It's right through here. You can see because I've tied it so tightly. There it is right there. I'm going to cut, not going too deep. I'm just going to hold it flat this other way and just kind of trim around the edges. Always holding on to my yarn that we tied it with, holding it down so I don't cut that piece. On every single project that I do, if I cut any of my scrap yarn, I put it in a pile and I hold it in a bag. And if I ever run out of filling, or if I'm stuffing something really small, I use that for my stuffing instead of using fiberfill. And this is going to go on top of our hat. So I'm going to cut me another piece of yarn and I'm going to load up the fork just like I did before. Go right down the middle, make it even and just hold it aside. Now I'm going to grab both of my colors, come through our first opening, go through the last opening, do that a couple of times, like so, and then just wrap it around. Okay, hold these two down here and put your thumb right here and wrap it around about 15 or 16 times. This is the yarn that's going to secure it. I'm going to come back through the middle so they're both on top. I'm going to wrap around that piece twice and I'm going to pull it tightly. So on this one, you can see that's what's holding it together. Now I'm going to flatten it the other way and start trimming up. I'm going to make one more of these and then I will be back to finish up and show you how to attach them. Now it's time to make the scarf. Start with a slip knot. Chain 65. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So continue on until you have a total of 65 chains. There's my long chain of 65. Start in the second chain from the hook and you're going to single crochet all the way to the end of the row. So to begin, we're going to insert our hook, grab the yarn, pull it through. You have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Go into the next stitch, insert, grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Go ahead and pause the video so you can work at your own pace. I will meet you back at the end of the row and we'll finish up together. Okay, once you're at the end of the row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to do 1 more row of single crochet all the way down. Make sure to go under both loops. Grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both. Insert, go under both loops, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both. Go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. And on the very last stitch, make sure to go through both as well, both loops. Grab the yarn, pull it through, and yarn over and pull through both. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie off. Starting in the same end as you tied off, we're going to go under both loops and tie on our new color. One simple tie. This first row, I'm going to chain 1 to secure the yarn, and starting in that next chain, I'm also going to be tucking as I'm going. This is just my preference. You can weave in this dangling piece later if you'd like, but I'm just going to tuck it in as I go. We're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way down to the end of the row, but we're only going to be doing this in the back loop only. Let me show you before we get going what the difference between the front loop and the back loop. This is the next stitch. I inserted my needle under both loops. This is the front loop. This is the back loop. We're only going to be placing our single crochet stitches in the back loop only all the way to the end of the row. I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch in the back loop only, and that white piece of yarn, the dangling piece, is just going to lay right on top, right next to the back loop. I'm going to grab my yarn, pull it through. There's 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both, and it's tucking as it's going. I'm going to go into the next stitch, back loop only, go underneath, grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Next stitch, back loop only, that dangling piece is still laying on top of my hook. Grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Go ahead and continue doing 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way down to your end of your row. Go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. I'm just finishing up the last couple of stitches here on this row, and on the very last stitch, go under both loops. Now, by going in the back loop, what that did is it created a nice little ridge, and it just gave it a nice little texture. Okay, at the very end of the row, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and this is the last row that we're going to do. So go under both loops, grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both, insert under both loops, grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, I'll meet you back at the end of the row. There's my last stitch. Just going to give me some extra yarn, tie off, pull out my yarn. This is the side that everyone will see. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this at the end, and I'm going to tie these two together and then just secure them. Before I tie it, I'm going to bring it here to the end because it's in the middle. Just going to bring it over here to the end. Okay, so they're on each end. We're folding it a little bit and then just tying it. Now on this end, since I only have the one string, I'm just going to bring this through here and tie off. Now it's time to attach our pom-poms on the end of each end of the scarf. Then I'm just going to tie it. And then just weave this in just a hair and then cut the ends. And you can do the same for the other end. So our scarf is complete. Too cute. Now we just got to attach the pom-pom. And I'm doing the very same thing. I'm going to go in from the top. To kind of flip this inside out, I'm going to tie it. And I'm just going to weave this in, and we flip the hat back out and we are finished. It's really secure. You could even tie it a few more times because you never know if they're just going to pull on the top little ball to take it off of their wine bottle or whatever bottle that you choose to put it on. I would love to see how yours turned out. You can share by using hashtag Kelly's Purpose, and feel free to tag me on your social media. Don't forget to subscribe, and I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day ahead.